Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're trying to cut through some of the noise around the Ukraine conflict. There's been a real flurry of diplomatic activity, and we've got sources from White House briefings, a Bloomberg report. Our mission is to pull out what's genuinely surprising here for you.
Exactly. We're going to unpack this potential U.S.-Russia summit that's being talked about, look at what might be happening behind the scenes, and maybe more importantly, who could be getting left out.
Okay, let's get into it. So the main idea is this possible meeting, right, between President Trump and President Putin. Could be soon, maybe even next week, in the UAE.
That's the report, yeah. Though the White House is apparently still, ironing out the details. Nothing confirmed yet.
But Putin seems to be gearing up.
Oh, definitely. What's interesting is he reportedly called President Xi of China. So he specifically briefed Xi on the Ukraine situation and these recent U.S.-Russia contacts.
And what was the message there?
Well, Putin apparently reassured Xi that the Russia-China relationship isn't changing. Solid. And Xi, for his part, called for peace talks. Acknowledged these complex problems don't have easy fixes.
Right.
He even apparently said he was pleased the U.S. and Russia were talking, looking for a political way through. So global eyes are on this.
Okay, but here's where it gets, well, a bit controversial maybe. Trump's statement. He said he would meet Putin even if Putin doesn't meet with President Zelensky of Ukraine.
Yeah, that's a significant shift. Remember, initially, there was an anonymous White House official saying a summit wouldn't happen without a Putin-Zelensky meeting first.
Right, I remember that.
Then it got walked back slightly to just being less likely. But this statement from Trump himself, it really brings back those concerns, doesn't it? The risk of excluding Ukraine from its own peace process.
And for Putin, a direct meeting with Trump. That's a big deal.
Huge, especially since he's refused to meet Zelensky before and has been, largely isolated internationally since the invasion started. Getting that direct line to the U.S. president, bypassing Kyiv, that's something he's probably actively seeking.
Okay, so this leads to the really critical part, the stuff from the sources about what they might actually be negotiating. Reports suggest the U.S. and Russia are discussing a deal that would basically cement Russia's control over territory it seized.
Yes, and this is where it gets quite specific. The reported demands are, well, they're major. Putin apparently insists Ukraine cedes the entire eastern Donbas area.
The whole thing.
The whole thing. Plus Crimea, which Russia annexed back in 2014, of course. This would mean Ukraine withdrawing troops from parts of Luhansk and Donetsk that Kyiv still controls.
So essentially handing Russia a victory that its military couldn't secure on the battlefield.
That's exactly how it looks on paper, yes. And in return, Russia would supposedly halt its offenses further south, in Kherson and Zaporizhia, along the current front lines.
Wow. If this is what's being floated, President Zelensky could be faced with a kind of take-it-or-leave-it situation. Immense pressure.
Potentially, yes.
And Europe, just watching from the sidelines, maybe monitoring a ceasefire.
That seems to be the fear in some European capitals, yeah.
Being
sidelined in the actual resolution. But it's really important to stress, none of this is official yet.
Right. Crucial point.
No official comments from the White House, the Kremlin, or Kyiv on these specific negotiations. The plans, the terms, they're still described as being in flux. But the fact these ideas are reportedly even being discussed, that tells you something.
It really does. So, stepping back, what does this all mean? If a peace deal involves validating territory taken by force, what does that signal about how international conflicts might be handled going forward?
Well, it raises some fundamental questions, doesn't it? About the balance of power, the importance we place on national sovereignty, and maybe worryingly, what kind of incentives it creates for future conflicts, if aggression can be rewarded with territory in a settlement.
That's a sobering thought. Definitely gives us all something to think about.
There's always more to consider, more viewpoints.
Absolutely. And if this deep dive sparked more questions for you, or if you have, other opinions, we really want to hear them, let us know down in the comments. Please like this deep dive if you found it valuable, and definitely hit subscribe so you don't miss our next one. Share it with your friends too, anyone who likes to get beneath the surface of these big stories. This is The Other Opinion, your channel for deeper insights. And just a quick final note. This deep dive was produced using AI to help pull together information from various sources. While we always aim for accuracy, some information might not be perfectly precise. Always good to keep exploring.